Hmm. Yes. So, in this second series, we are using our intellect to create a deeper understanding of this journey of Eastern wisdom. Initially, we started, today is going to be the fifth one, so contemplation. We understood what is contemplation. And we also understand that knowledge settles by contemplation and reflection. What is smartwatch? I know smartwatch, that is all. So that knowledge of the smartwatch is that I know the few tips. That is one thing. Or I know I have an expertise. I can open it and fix it. So that knowledge settles by contemplation and reflection. So what happens? This intellect helps us to recognize the confusion and the wrong notions that we have. You wake up in the morning and you have a headache. So the mind instantly, habitually says, I have an headache. So it goes for a solution. Does the real self prompts me to take a pill, or it is happening in the mind? Are you getting it? No, my honey is crazy, so then I become sad. Now, who prompts me? Who prompts me that leads to these experiences? We need this intellect to remain active and aware. Then only we can move into the higher consciousness. In the last week, we see three stages of delusion. Do you still remember? I wonder. Do you still remember the last week we took it? Three stages. Where is Lara? Has come, and yes, she has come. So last week we understood the three stages of the wrong notions created by the mind, and then that mind takes over my intellect. And when it takes over my intellect, then what happens? Then I am stressed, I suffer, ah, I have anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict all the time. Do I want to live like this? Who cares? I'm very busy. I have lot of things to do. Hence, let this wrong notion in the delusion continue. Now that continues and gives you the anxiety reaction. At the same time, the second part of the mind is seeking peace and happiness. How it is possible? It is not possible. We are understanding it has nothing to do with the cult, dogma, belief, religion, blind belief. No. We are understanding. That is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. That includes yoga, huh? Tantra, mantra, meditation, kundalini, mindfulness. We don't have time. Let's have an instant meditation, instant coffee. Huh? It will not work in our life. We need to appreciate our intellect. We are given an intellect by the existence. No, I have a lot of things to do. Who will listen to this beard guy? Don't listen. Listen to your own intellect. This is the journey. So, this tradition reveals the knowledge. What do you mean by tradition? Tradition means the knowledge is passed on to us and it is given to seekers by a method. Understand, this is what the tradition is. No, I follow 20 years old tradition. I told you the story of a beautiful girl who went into 3 surgeries. I have 20 years of experience, plus 3 spinal surgeries, because you over twist your spine to demonstrate what you can do. So, whatever understanding the teacher has should also be revealed in the seeker's intellect. That is very important part of the tradition. Did you get it? Whatever the knowledge teacher has should also be revealed in the seekers. How it can be revealed? If you contemplate and reflect. Otherwise, it will become a fiction, a fiction book. I read everything and I got it. I know. No, that will not work. Understand. So let us contemplate about ignorance and wisdom. You see how beautiful if you contemplate and reflect. In ignorance, I am a human being, and in wisdom, I am the real self. That much is required. You might have spent some time before the mirror attending this session. So that image is reflected as a human being. And when the mind is pure, real self is reflected inside. That much is required. That much needs to be contemplated and reflected on. Now think, compare. You might have pets, Ashok was talking about. He has 2 rabbits. Here is very good. Can dog contemplate and reflect? Can a rabbit contemplate and reflect? I have a treasure given to me as a human being, and we don't want to use this. We can awaken and realize our true nature only in this human frame, not in the body of a hare or rabbit or dog or any cat. This human body, human frame is blessing to us by the existence. We don't know. We are born as a human being. Ask your intellect why I am born as a human being. Don't start putting a wrong notion. Oh, do you want to say that we are more intelligent than the animals? Definitely. If it is so, then we are. No, they are also living being and we are also living being. They cannot make a choice, we can make a choice. That is a blessing to us. Take care of all the animals, go to the animal activist, but first take care of yourself. I love cat. Stop giving food to your pet and see whether they love you or not. Now they are also living being. We have to give food. You are the only person who has to take care of the entire animal kingdom. I'm not saying, don't have the pet. Have the pet. Have 5, 6, 10, whatever it is. Think of this. Our master says that we are rare to be born as a human being. I did not have a choice. And that being rare, I should desire for freedom from bondage. No, none of your pet can desire for freedom. If they have an intellect, if they desire for the freedom, they will definitely leave your house. You may claim that they love you. And if you do not agree with me, keep the door open. Rare. We should be blessed. We are blessed. So last week we covered the pleasure seeker. One thing, pleasure seeker and the real self seeker. I can make a difference. I am a pleasure seeker in this world. I will continue to suffer. All the animals have to be a pleasure seeker because they live at the low level of self-awareness. For all practical purposes, they are the body. They claim they are the body. That is why we talk of animal instincts. Do you see that? Just check it. And that is why no animals commit sin. They are not sinners. They do not commit any virtue. Why? They are the body. That's all. But they have the body. We have this human frame, which is rare because higher self-awareness and the free intellect lives here. Do you see that? Do I realize that? So when the higher self-awareness lives here, the intellect lives here, I can find the truth. And the truth always triumphs. What we are doing in our life. We are getting carried away by wrong notions, wrong ideas. We fall prey to very small things. I don't like this. I react to this. I like this. I dislike this. That is the way we spend our entire life, entire day, weeks, months in together, years together. You see, we can analyze our day-to-day life. What is our life? You say this beer guy is equal to few cherished emotions plus few likes and dislikes plus few pleasures plus few hours of session. That is what life. Don't we want to change? Think of this. And plus few years of the past impression that I carry forward. Last year, I fought with you. I disliked you. I hated you. We can get rid of this 100% by the intellect. Think of this. That is why we say, I do not know, let me know it. The moment you have any anxiety, tell your mind from the intellect, because I do not know, there are some wrong notions. That is why I'm in anxiety, I'm in reaction, I'm in duality. This is for the seekers, not for the layman. What will happen? The intellect will start exploring, it will contemplate and reflect, and it will find out, mind, you are going outside, you are attached. You are searching peace and happiness in an object, in a person, in a thing outside. That is why you have this anxiety. Now think of this. When the intellect reflects on this, what will happen to the reaction, anxiety, duality, and a conflict? What will happen? That mind naturally moves inside and succeeds in meditation. Think of this. Now we are seriously pursuing because we all are seekers. I'm thankful to you all because you are giving me a chance to speak out. That will give you an answer what prevents me to sit in meditation for awakening. Because mind is running outside. We have already answered. So when this intellect is sure that why my mind is running outside, I need not to complain but that mind is always running outside. That is why I did not succeed in meditation. Now the intellect is clear. And when the intellect is clear, you are good to go. Exactly, you found the address. Do you see that? So that is why our master says that I have to think, I have to live in higher self-awareness using my intellect. I should not get carried away. This is what the contemplation and reflection is. My mind goes back to Swami Vivekananda, who came here in 1893 in US, gave a world famous lecture, and he never taught any physical asanas, hatha yoga. The first time Americans were introduced to yoga. He taught all these stuff. That is what we are learning. So meditation, now the mind is clear, free from the wrong notions. So what is meditation? So there, one master said, the mind merges into the real self. When it merges into the real self, it awakens to the real self. It awakens to the peace and happiness. So what happens? The mind, once there is a clarity, then the mind naturally has an inward moving tendency. It does not jump onto the different objects. It's not a big deal. Continue. While listening, ask a question to yourself. So next question may come that from where the mind brings all these thoughts. So we know because of the desires, from where the desire comes. A lot of questions. The more questions you ask, it will awaken your intellect. Simple thing. Allow the intellect to contemplate and reflect. Remember, be very clear. Desire for basic needs is a must for every living being. Basic needs. We must desire for the basic needs. And these basic needs for the human being changes very. I need a perfect computer and a monitor. That is my basic need. Otherwise, how I can give the lessons? So I always check maybe 5-10 minutes before. Is internet clear? His monitor is working. So besides food, shelter, and the clothes, whatever we are doing, there must be a basic needs must be met. Take a simple example. You are living in a joint family with the 10 members in the family. You have to wash the clothes. You need a washer and dryer. That is what the intellect sees. So what we are asking, the desire for seeking happiness outside must be dropped. I will be happy. I will be happy if I get this object. No, it is not for happiness. It is not for peace. It is for basic needs. Okay. But if I project that, there comes the problem. So we must be very clear about the two kinds of desire. If I earn couple of $1,000 today or in a month, I will be happy. Problem is there. But to earn with the basic, for my basic needs, perfectly all right. Then my intellect will focus on my activity, my creativity, my work. That is why we learned apply discernment, dispassion, desire for freedom with the 6 treasures. When you apply with 6 treasures, then there is one more thing to understand before we go. We already know that why mind creates likes and dislikes. Because the moment the mind creates likes and dislikes, it takes the intellect hostage to live with them. And then the intellect also starts running with the mind in the same way. And that causes the problem. There is no any problem in the human life than desiring for peace and happiness outside, because it is within me. If the intellect is clear, it is holding on this knowledge, no one can give you any peace, any problem and suffering. That understanding should be 100% in the mind. Now see that what is the next question that comes to your mind? Think of it. The moment you think of it, you will find out. What question? When we ignore and continue to work with the likes and dislikes, the ignorance starts. First, the mind starts running outside. Second, it is running because of likes and dislikes. Third, likes and dislikes caused by not living consciously, not living from the intellect, then what happens? The fourth step, the mind is carried away by the wrong notion that what I like will give me happiness. This is everything is happening in the mind. And then the fifth, the mind says intellect, pushes the intellect behind, and then we enter into love, hate, loveless relationship, etc. And then the mind starts working on us, and that causes the suffering. You can underline in 5 or 6 steps. My friends, we need to contemplate and reflect. What it takes to contemplate and reflect? Your intellect. Why intellect? We are a human being. We are not comparing ourselves. We are not jealous that, the tiger has a stronger body than us. No. Tiger is never jealous of us. That's why they do not commit sin. The moment we start thinking, oh, you look at the tiger, look at the cow, they are happier. They eat from the mud and they are still happy. We are scared of our virus and infections and other things. So once you understand all the 6 steps, the way the mind creates a delusion, first from the likes and dislikes, then it starts running outside. Second, it is running because of likes and dislikes. Third, likes and dislikes caused by the mind working on us, or you can say not living my life consciously. Fourth, mind is carried away by the wrong thinking. Fifth, mind moves a step further, and creates preferences. And when it creates preferences, the relationship with the objects and people in the world, mind has started working on me. Then there is no way. Have you ever experienced in your life that your mind has created an image about a person, and that image is about hatred? You want to be comfortable with that person, you can never become comfortable with that person. Your mind is looking for how to blame and complain and react about this person. The moment he leaves or she leaves, your mind has already created a story. Look at this guy, how he was looking at me, I hate this guy. Unnecessary, unwanted, not required. No tiger, no cows does this. No cat, no dog does this. But we do it because the mind is working on us. We need to dissolve 3 points. Drop it, dissolve it, destroy it. I use another acronym, 3D. Long back, I started with 20 years ago. Drop it. Allow the intellect to have the right knowledge. It will drop by itself. If those impressions in the mind are not very strong, dissolve it. Contemplate and reflect again. It will dissolve by itself. If you repeat contemplation and reflection, but there are some impressions which cannot be destroyed, cannot be dropped, cannot be dissolved, I need a regular practice to do it. I need a regular contemplation and reflection on that person whom you hate. Whether the person is good or bad, that is secondary thing. I want to get rid of the craziness of my mind. That is my goal. You see? See the point? See the understanding? So that my mind can work freely. Mind should not work on me. I should work on the mind. So there are 3 steps. 3D, discernment, dispassion, and desire for freedom, plus 6 treasures. And here 3 Ds means drop it, dissolve it, destroy it. Drop it if you understand. Sometime, those impressions have recently started taking the ground. It has not created a deep impression. It is not freezing. So you can drop it easily. Others, dissolve it by repeated contemplation and reflection. If it is not regular practice, same thing has to be done. If you do that, that is what the contemplation is. And that will take you to a higher level of awareness and meditation. So let us start our journey now, practicing